Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the topic of support and support when you have HS and welcoming in a new relationship or finding more space in your current relationship to allow a partner to increase the support they're offering to you. A lot of people in relation to individuals that have HS will report to me that although they want to be helpful and they want to provide more support to their loved ones, they find it hard to find a way in and find the areas that they can be most helpful. And I think one of the reasons that comes about is because we are forced to learn sometimes in life to take care of a lot of our own stuff. And no place could be more clear than that with the overwhelming task of doctor's appointments, self-care regimens, and even recovery from surgery that involves HS care so often. So I think, especially in welcoming in a new relationship, it's hard to figure out where someone might be able to fit and how it's comfortable. I think it's important to reflect on the difference between independence, strength, and support. And so for a lot of people, it feels scary to let somebody take over something or to lean too heavily on somebody if they feel like that infringes on a feeling of being able to take care of themselves, be independent, and to feel strong. And so I think that one way to approach this, and if you find that you would identify as a person who doesn't often let others give a lot of care or a lot of emotional physical support to you, a good way to think about why would I want to do that is to think about it, how it feels to be offering care, offering support, offering expertise, being a friend to somebody else. And it is probably one of the best emotional experiences as a human being. And so we need to feel that in relation to other individuals, and partners, loved ones need us to make space to be able to be in that role with us. So I think being able to accept and make room to receive support is actually a sign of strength. It's a sign of being able to manage that vulnerability. For those of you that might identify, yeah, that's something hard for me, that's something that I'm not real good at doing, I would define myself as a very independent person, and I don't like other people, having to rely on other people doing things for me. I think a good way to tiptoe into the area of allowing more support in your life, because other people report they want to provide that to you, is simply by thinking about areas you would want support versus areas that you need support. It's most difficult if you find that you're thrown into accepting support because you have to have it, and that can really infringe on the feeling of independence and strength. So start with an area. A really simple example I'll give to couples is most people would love to have someone pay dinner just because they'd like to share a meal or some appetizers. So that's a way somebody can support you and taking you out. Another really simple way is a conversation. Maybe you don't want to feel like you completely open up, that you bring your box of tissue and you're crying and overwhelmed with something. But a good starting place in asking for support is to say the what, not the why. The introductory without the detail. So to say to a loved one or perhaps a new partner, I've had a lousy day, thanks for asking, and I'm not sure I want to talk about it much, but just having you ask, the fact that you care, helps me a great deal. And that, even though it sounds really simple, can be a great introduction into getting your system, yourself prepared to be able to lean a little bit into somebody else and to give them the experience of, oh, you opened up to me, you let me in a little. Another thing to notice that I'll often talk about in sessions with the clients I work with is there's parts of ourselves that develop when we are in situations that we are forced to be incredibly independent, that we have to really rally ourselves to be strong, and we might feel really alone when we're doing it. And those parts of yourself kind of stay pretty stubborn. And so when you notice that you're in a position that you could let someone in a little, but you find yourself hesitating, think about the history that part of you developed from. and just be a little gentle with it. Just notice it and say, I know why I think this way. I know why that part of me is pretty guarded, and I'm not sure I need to be quite that guarded in this moment in my life now. Sometimes simply just by noticing the history of a part of ourselves that might really push away from something like support can be enough for our psychology, our mental and spiritual self to kind of take a deep breath and say, I got this. I can try this out. I can push on through. That part of myself isn't as needed right now as it was maybe in an earlier time in my life. So a couple of thoughts on the importance of how do I approach increasing support in my life and increasing the opportunity for people to be there for me. And again, always remembering that independence and strength can sit right beside having more support in your life. Find the places in your life that you would want to, enjoy having support, and start there versus feeling like you need to have it. And that can make vulnerability a little bit easier to digest.